Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Elevate Your Soul podcast. Today, I am interviewing Integrative Holistic Empowerment Coach, Kundalini Yoga Facilitator, Naturopath, and mother of two, Jade Miller, who literally looks like she is half her age. Jade tells us her recommendations for anti-aging and maintaining your youth and what has worked for her personally. Listen to this podcast episode to find out her tips and tricks for smooth, radiant skin, anti-aging, keeping your physical and mental state fit, and overall well-being and happiness. If you want to find Jade online, you can find her on Instagram at JadeSta. Those are in the show notes if you're interested. If you have a moment and you've been listening to the Elevate Your Soul podcast and you are enjoying it, please write me a little review and give me a 5-star rating. It would mean so much to me. It really helps just get this information and get this podcast out there. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast episode. Hello, Jade. Welcome to the Elevate Your Soul podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming online. First question I have for you is, what elevates your soul?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. I think I just think connection. So connecting with people.
Yeah.
Whether I'm connecting with people in the online space or connecting with people in my community. I find people are so fascinating and they just continue to, just blow me away.
Yeah. I love connection.
Just got my cup of tea.
I love it. So I'm going to point out the obvious.
So yeah.
You turned 40 this year, right?
I did.
I can put your age on the podcast, and you look like you're 20. So you literally look half your age. We all want to know, how do you do it? What is your secret? But first, I would like to ask, what was it that first made you interested in maintaining your youth and longevity? Was there a point where you saw a gray hair and you're like, it's on? Or what was it?
I think I've always been really, really super productive and so busy. I've often worked 2 jobs or freelanced, and I think during that time you just become so it's easy for burnout to happen. So that's when I just really started to drop into my health and my wellness during those early years, and just became a little bit more conscious and aware of looking after myself, really, during those early 20s. And then in coming into 30s, when we've got the really stressful years, and I say stressful years because it's often when, you're thriving in your career, you're working really long hours, people are building businesses, having children, they're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
That's when I started to become right, I'm going to be a little bit more conscious of this and start to really drop into all of my studies on anti-aging and longevity and put it into practice. Awesome. I kind of had the intuition that if I do the work now and really live all of the knowledge and apply it on myself, it's going to pay off later.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, 100%. I've always been interested in anti-aging, or just slowing down the aging process. Even at a young age, when I was a teenager, I would look at older women in their 60s who are still killing it and dressing in jeans and stuff and high heels. And I was always so inspired. I was like, yes, I want to be like that when I'm older. Just good posture, good skin, and just not letting yourself go, I guess, either.
Same. And those are really memorable women.
Yeah.
I think when I was working in Ibiza, I was working in the clubs in like the VIP section, and the Dutch women really stood out to me in the same way. I was like, wow, they've got radiance,
Mm-hmm.
style, relaxed, beauty, and yeah, just really
That's so
inspiring.
awesome
And
because
random
you're like
women as
that
well
now.
that you meet on the bus. I I think honestly I still feel like I'm 30 though.
Yeah. Good. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you look like you're 30 oldest, if not younger. You still look like you're in your 20s. And you're a mom, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've got a 9-year-old and 6-year-old. And to be
Wow.
fair, um, I didn't sleep through the night for like 6 years either.
Yeah.
My oldest boy, he is next level. He's a little bit extra. He's always been quite high stimuli as well. So I really thought even more in this time, oh God, this is going to catch up on me, all the sleepless
Yeah.
nights, working during the day, being productive. So yeah, so that's when I really just thought, okay, I'm going to support myself and do the work.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What kind of things, when you said you were like looking into anti-aging and you studied into slowing down the aging process, what were the main things that stood out? And for me, when you just mentioned sleep was always like a big one for me too. And that's
Mm,
why I'm like, so I also love my sleep. Like I just feel better after a good long sleep, but I also do prioritize it because I know how much the body like heals and has that time to rest and rejuvenate while you're sleeping. But other than sleep, yeah, like what kind of things did you learn that were really important to maintain your youth? And what kind of things did you implement in your own life?
hmm. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people know the basics, exercise, healthy living, get sleep, drink lots of water.
Yeah.
Most people know all of those things. Um, so I studied to be a naturopath,
Yeah.
um, and it was a double major. So I was studying naturopathy and I was studying nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really passionate about both of them. Um, and also from living in different countries as well, I started to really research and go deep into different cultures, particularly Japan, where I lived for a couple of years as well,
Yeah.
and all the longevity little formulas. I became obsessed with like David Wolf podcasts and interviews, like Lee Holmes, the I Quit Sugar lady, what's her name, Sarah
Yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Um, so I was just reading a lot, and then I'm the kind of person that I start to see formulas and patterns and crossovers. So I started like compiling all this knowledge and picking out lots of different ingredients which were covering all the bases. Um, so started just really applying those to my own life. Um, so there are like a few key components which I've boiled it down to, and I've created like a little bit of a guide and like an ebook as well to incorporate all of this. For me now, it's sort of second nature. Um,
Yeah.
I feel anti-aging or age prevention is essentially it's a long-term game, and so that's how it needs to be viewed. Like
Yeah.
everything that we're putting into our body every day, we're either um, like building and supplying our cells with the building blocks they need to maintain integrity, or we're depleting and draining them.
Yeah.
um, so that's like the overriding philosophy. Um, and that, so yeah, so I really switched from healthy living or to what's known as optimal nutrition.
Yeah.
And optimal nutrition is when you start to saturate your body with everything on all the key ingredients that that it really needs to maintain itself. So for example, your antioxidants and your omega-3, 6, and 9, bringing in a lot of things like green tea, that sort of thing. So that's one component of it, which is
If I can
deep
just stick to
nutrition.
that component and dive deeper into that. So you're saying optimal health, like rather than just eating a clean diet, you mean like optimal health as in you mentioned like green tea, omega 3s, I'm guessing, and antioxidants. Do you supplement? Is that when you started supplementing?
Not so much. I really subscribe to whole foods, so
Yep.
whole food supplements. So for example, in the morning I'll do things like I'll mix up uh, bee pollen with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and so
Okay.
in that you've got all whole food, vitamin C and the bees, and you're supplying yourself with digestive enzymes to open up your body to start receiving the nutrition from foods,
Yeah.
because we can supply ourselves with all this amazing nutrient dense foods, but are you absorbing it?
Yeah.
Or is it going straight through you? So we are
Digestive.
what we absorb, not what we eat.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. Did you have digestive issues ever in your life before?
I did. I
Yeah.
did, absolutely. I actually had a emergency C-section, and all during my pregnancy, I was eating a lot of pasta. This is before I really became conscious of what I was putting in.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, being a vegetarian did involve a lot of pasta, especially when there wasn't a lot available on the,
Yeah.
in the shelves in the health food aisles and that. And so I started to experience really terrible heartburn. And I remember going and seeing a naturopath one day, and she looked into my eyes and she read my irises, and she was like, "Oh, you're malnourished."
Uh,
And the pregnancy became quite complicated, emergency C-section,
yeah.
and I started to. That's when my health was really started to get quite depleted.
How old are
Um,
you at this point?
mm, I think about 30, 31.
Yep. And this was your
Yeah,
first child?
that was my first child. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and so because I was malnourished, I started to understand, okay, um, some things need to really change for this, for myself as well, and with breastfeeding and having the energy and all the, from looking after a demanding toddler and running a business and that. So with my second pregnancy, that's when I was really diving deep into my studies and reading a lot and just piecing it all together and starting to really apply all of that knowledge
Yeah.
onto myself. So
Yeah.
I was certainly not reaching
Were you still
for.
vegetarian in your second pregnancy?
What's that?
Were you still vegetarian with your second pregnancy, with your second child?
No,
Okay.
no. I I really subscribe to listening and tuning into my body.
Yeah.
I think that's where the direction that I ended up heading into at that point of my life. And I started to dream about eating meat. And so still like 80%, vegan, vegetarian is what I switched to.
Yep.
But every now and again I would have
Yeah.
like a fine cut of venison or an organic chicken steak or something like that. I always ate fish, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Did you realize how different was your diet from when you had your first child, when you were pregnant with them versus the second child? Was it very different, or was that only the beginning stages of you integrating what you knew with the second child?
Honestly, it was completely different. I completely rebooted, recalibrated, revamped my entire system. I
Wow.
was so determined not to ever go through post-traumatic stress again, go through a traumatizing pregnancy,
Yeah.
labor again, that I started to develop I started to research really deeply into all the reasons why. Um, and that was when I first started to really drop into liver cleansing,
Yep.
and I started to follow and research women that were doing raw food diets, that were curing themselves of cancer, people that were in the States going away to these diabetic camps where they would totally heal themselves of type 1 diabetes, which is unheard of because it's incurable, right? And all these
Yeah.
autoimmune diseases, which are incurable. And I thought, well, there's something in this, you know?
Yeah.
There really is. So that's when I thought, okay, well, I will start to apply this to myself and really and self-heal. So I did all the pre-conception cleansing and detoxing, which was hugely focused around cleansing your liver, which manufactures your hormones, to make it a lot easier to conceive and to, you know, sustain your pregnancy.
Was that hard during the liver cleanse? Was that like hard on your body, or did it feel good, the liver cleanse?
When I first started doing them, I would just ease into them. I'd call it the 3-day cleanse. And I started like creating these little programs and sharing them with the women who became my clients, 3-day programs. And so I'm all for easing into something and then easing out. Otherwise it can it can cause your body a bit of shock, or there's something called toxic shock. So the more I did them, the easier they got.
And do you realize a difference with your 2 children? Like, is the younger one's health different from, the younger one's health different from the older sibling?
They're a little bit contradictory, actually. It turned out to be the opposite. I don't know what's up with that.
So when you were vegetarian, eating lots of pasta, not as conscious, that child seems to have better health than the one where you were integrating your knowledge of health.
I mean, I used to sit him up on the counter and we'll start to make green smoothies and that. And so he'll eat green smoothies, prawn curries, like he's really adventurous with his food. I think it's a lot to do with his personality type rather than anything else, though. And my little girl, she's a little bit more cautious, so she makes safer choices. But one of the things that she's younger. So she was the second pregnancy.
Okay. Oh, and so the first pregnancy child, he's not doesn't eat as big of variety and like doesn't like his veggies as much, so to speak.
No, the opposite. So he's got a great diet. He'll eat like tempeh and tofu and prawns and raw food wraps and the works. They'll chew on spirulina tablets. So but she's just a little bit more cautious, but I think that's a lot to do with her personality. So we'll give it time. Things, you know, just little subtle changes. But all in all, the results really showed. I had a beautiful pregnancy, and there was no C-section. I delivered naturally, and so I felt really, really just triumphant that it worked. And you know, there was no post-traumatic stress. There was no depletion. She's a thriving baby. So yeah, it worked.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what other things did you implement into your lifestyle or your diet at that time, or in the last decade that you haven't aged? What have you been doing?
So it's probably I'm a big fan of greens. I think that having a mainly alkaline diet, spirulina would probably be the one consistent that I've taken daily since I was 20. So spirulina is a well-known superfood. You know, it's really ancient. They took it in Egyptian times, Roman times. It's a warrior food.
How do you eat spirulina? Do you put it in a smoothie or a juice, or do you eat it plain or with water?
I can show you. I've got it right here. Excuse me. So I always just take the live stream one because it's super potent and organic. So that would be the one that I've taken religiously daily every year. And and I've like since I've been 20, and it's nature's richest superfood. So whole food supplement, once again, cover all bases, and then everything on top of that is a bonus. I mean, you can literally survive with that. It's a whole food. It has everything except for your omegas. It's got protein in it, and so yeah, that would be one that I really subscribe to.
Yeah.
Goji berries.
Okay. Yeah.
So goji berries are another really ancient superfood. They're not palatable at all. Like, they're gross. So I'll soak them,
Yeah,
and then blend them with like frozen raspberries into like a frozen raspberry smoothie with beetroot as well. So you've got the nitrogen.
Yeah.
And I know that this is not the kind of diet that's standard or normal, but once again, I was just really interested in working with optimal nutrition, and balancing toning hormones, which also play a big part in aging, and keeping your organs really healthy, which is all the Chinese medicine sort of stuff. Your organs are optimal. They're doing a good job of cleansing and flushing, and like cleansing your body of toxins. Then your cellular integrity is going to reproduce whole and clear.
Definitely.
So that bigger picture stance, I guess, I took on it. So that's it from a nutritional point of view.
Just touching on nutrition and supplementing. You said you didn't supplement, but you're a fan of whole foods, incorporating whole foods, but you mentioned things like apple cider vinegar and bee pollen and spirulina. Is there anything else, like what sort of power foods or quote unquote like natural supplements do you include in your diet on a daily or weekly basis?
All right. Yes. I'm a big fan of adaptogens. So don't drink coffee. I love coffee, love the smell of it. It's beautiful, but I feel it's really taxing, and taxing on your adrenal glands. You go into deficit, and it's one of those foods that will take away from you, and then you're constantly having to chase the next coffee to get the energy. So I make myself a little bit of an elixir every day, and it's maca. So that's Indian ginseng. Balances the hormone, creates stamina, mental clarity. So many benefits from that one. Sorry, that one's Peruvian ginseng. And I blend it with a raw cacao, and then with an Indian ginseng, ashwagandha. So
nice.
That's
you can buy that in New Zealand.
And I know it sounds really exotic, but
I've heard that one before, ashwagandha. Can you get that in New Zealand?
Yeah. So I order it wholesale offline.
Yeah.
So I order all these powders, and actually I've got it here. So what I've been working on, one of my recent little passion projects, is to create a raw cacao product, but it's a higher dose. So not only do you have, the cacao in it to substitute for coffee, it's got the ginsengs and medicinal mushrooms. So I've make it up like that, and then just blend that with vanilla almond milk and coconut sugar, because I don't eat sugar either.
Cool. That's another good one. I think you should mention, not eating sugar. That's huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about I think it's called lactation. I think when the kids were young, and obviously being pregnant, I think I went about 2 years without drinking alcohol. Since really dropping into my Kundalini yoga practice, not so much, but every now and again I do. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that when I was doing a lot of my liver cleansing, I wasn't even drinking alcohol. So some people will say, no, I don't need to do a liver cleanse. I drink water and I don't drink alcohol. But
everything goes through the liver. Every toxin, even that you breathe, goes through the liver.
You got it. And even stress.
How do you do your liver cleanses, if I can ask?
Sure. So I designed a little bit of a program, a little downloadable, and I did base it around probiotics, high fiber, to support flushing. You'd have your acids like apple cider vinegar, lemon, and then we would do juice cleansing, and
Yeah.
then your liver supplements, so like milk thistle and dandelion, selenium,
Yeah.
MSM, which is a sulfur, to support the phase 1 and phase 2 of detoxifying. So
Nice.
that's actually quite a simple liver cleanse, would you believe? They can get quite complicated.
Okay.
And then maybe doing like a bone broth at nighttime.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
link up any one of your websites or whatever after if people are interested to know more about the liver cleanse from you as well.
Cool.
Awesome. And then moving on from nutritional side, what other things did you do and incorporate or learn for anti-aging?
I've been doing yoga for 18 years.
Wow.
Um, um, I would attribute that to being a big part
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, yoga. And I've always been really active, but not obsessive with one particular thing. So not overstraining my body.
Yeah.
Variety. I mean, I feel that as a foundation for exercise, yoga, some weight training to maintain bone density is really important. So I've always incorporated that. And then I just mix it up. Like, I'll do all different kinds of things. Go for a jog, run, rock climbing, jump on the tram. I'll do,
Yeah.
I stay quite playful, and I'll pick up martial arts or kickboxing, or I'll just try a lot of different things and dance. I think it's all really good for the mind as well, just to stay really flexible and dexterous.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. I love that you mentioned that as well. Yeah, just trying different classes or different sports and moving different ways. It definitely helps like rewire the brain and open new neuro pathways in the brain, which is good for anti-aging too.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what other things do you incorporate?
I would say the last part of that, and this really started in my early 20s, when I was living in Bondi in Australia. I started to switch to organic when and where I could. Everyone's on a budget, so you've got to be practical at different times of your life. So I started to slowly switch my skincare to organic and natural as possible, and even my makeup as well. I would, always use mineral-based sunscreens in a lot of products these days, and it's in minerals. So to be honest, I haven't been a big user of sunscreen, just some natural sunscreens and like a BB cream or something. Always hat, always sunglasses, to, because squinting, squinting is something that will contribute. So if you're seeing the beauty in things and staying restful and, practicing things like mindfulness or being out in nature and meditating, I think you naturally have a little bit more of a restful face. Liver cleansers as well will contribute to that. When you look at like Chinese medicine and the lines in here and the squinting, it can be like an overload in the liver, or really like deep lines down here, it can be the descending colon that needs to be flushed out. So
Wow.
I was aware of those sorts of things as well.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I've had the most stress-free life either. Like, I've gone through a lot of different times and phases and worked long hours, and so it's just always coming back to those well-being tools to manage stress.
Definitely. And what has been your motivation for that? Like, you're a single mom, right? Or you don't live with? Yeah. So that's like huge in itself. Like, you don't even need to say you didn't live a stress-free life like that. Just that parenting 2 children on your own, and then, of course, the challenges that life and the universe loves to throw at us. What was it that made you determined to like stick to eating a clean diet, never like compulsively over exercising, never compulsively over drinking alcohol, not drinking coffee, all of those things? What was it that made you stick to that and keep that motivation?
Energy, vitality, that's something that I think we all need more of
Yeah.
to not only survive but to thrive. I
Right.
didn't want to just like, being a mum's a really beautiful thing, but then it's so important to have your projects and
Yeah.
um, space and time to create. But if you've got no energy, you don't want to create. So yeah, I would say energy and vitality,
Yeah.
and just coming back to self-love as well. So
Mhm.
self-love is it's unending, and as we age, it's so important to just drop into it deeper and deeper and evolve with that. You
Yeah.
know, it can start off really simple as like just taking relaxing baths and oils and
Yeah.
sitting by the ocean. But then I think, yeah, when you're when you need to when you as you get older, it's just something that really you want to expand.
Definitely. Self-love is like the key to everything. I think if you want
Yeah.
anything positive in your life, yeah, self-love. That's so cool. Is there anything else like it's so interesting because you brought up like Chinese philosophy. You picked up what you learned in Japan from living in Japan. I know you've done some Kundalini breath work. You've been in yoga. Is there anything else that, like any other cool facts that you learned throughout the years that you can share with us?
I feel like that really covers most of the basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you this like whole food organic diet, which such a blanket statement, but you know, all of that
Are
that
you
we spoke
vegan?
about.
You said you're not vegan or vegetarian now, but you're mostly plant-based, right?
Mostly plant-based, yeah. I don't eat gluten, coffee, and cheese is very minimal. Don't have milk. Then mainly because how much they've been altered by
Yeah.
GMO,
Yeah.
and that I don't believe that they're compatible with the body.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And then you're sugar-free.
just
And then you
yes,
pretty much try to live a toxin-free life as well in terms of the beauty products you use, the makeup you use. And I'm sure you're someone who in your household you're using like eco-friendly laundry detergent and things like that, I could
you
imagine
got it.
as
Yes, yeah.
well.
Definitely, because we're going to absorb chemicals to our skin, so toxin free as possible.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of a rule that's been thrown around, like 80-20, so 80% good,
Yeah.
20% naughty. And I would say that most of my life I've been that, and then through the stress years, like the early 30s, good, like consistent for 4 years, I was more like 90%,
Nice.
um, and then 10%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a pack of twisties, a chocolate bar, a glass of wine,
Yeah.
but then always coming back to
Yeah.
my core foundations of health and well-being and cleansing.
Okay, cool. So there is hope for me. I can have the odd naughty thing because you're like, you're my
Yeah,
inspiration.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. You
Like
don't
not
want to beat
getting too
yourself
stressed.
up.
Yeah, not getting too stressed about it too. Like you can tell people who like they really want something and then they just get like almost too obsessive and like strict about their lifestyle, even if they're just wanting to like maintain the label vegan or something. They're so like someone cooked a meal for me, but it has honey in it, so I'm not gonna eat any of the salad because it's in the dressing or something like that. Like it's like you're not really saving the bees. Like the salad's made or something
The
like that.
salad's made. The salad is made. That, yeah, I love that. And it's mindset's really important. That's another component of self-love as well. Like even when I became vegetarian, and I was vegetarian for 9 years, I
Yeah.
always said to myself, look, if I'm traveling and I'm in like Morocco and somebody gives me a goat curry in their home and it's made with love and it's been blessed, and
Yeah.
um, who am I to say no to such a traditional offering? And
Yeah.
it actually happened. I was in Japan, and I went round to a housewife's home, and she was so hospitable. She'd made all these beautiful handmade dumplings, and it was pork, and I was
Oh,
vegetarian, and I
yeah.
just ate it gratefully, not a word, and just was thankful. And so, no stomach cramps either.
Exactly. Showing gratitude. Oh, well, it had pasta all over it, so you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, mindset definitely. Yeah, that's huge as well. That's huge as well because and as you mentioned before, like with nutrition, you're not what you eat, you are what you absorb and can digest. So, what digestive issues did you have, and how did you overcome those? Because I know that's a huge problem
Mm.
for especially women these days.
Oh, absolutely. So when I was vegetarian, the body's really clever and it will adapt and adjust to what's required of it for optimal efficiency. So when you're vegetarian, your stomach doesn't need to secrete it's called HCI, so I think it's hydrochloric acid, yes,
Yeah.
to break down, which is the fire in your belly, the digestive acids, to break down the proteins, to extract and turn them into amino acids, which are your protein building blocks. So you don't produce that. So because I didn't produce that, I was having heartburn. And so, yeah, so that's when I had to revamp all of that. So I started taking that as a supplement, and, the lemon water.
What as a supplement? The
It's
actual HCI, the actual.
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah. But a lot of people will do, and just until my body, I was communicating to my body, all right, we're going to start introducing meat a little bit more often now. You need to up your levels, and then so the body starts to adapt and adjust. And having like raw apple cider vinegar and probiotics, digestive enzymes. I found that with optimal nutrition, you can like saturate yourself in something or cleanse something out of your system, and then the body will just start to run on its own. It's like, like doing a service on the car, something like that.
Right. Can you give an example of what you meant by that? Other than the car, I mean, like physically?
Yeah, so I wasn't producing any hydrochloric acid, so I was getting terrible heartburn. It's often misdiagnosed. Doctors will subscribe an antacid, but it's 9 times out of 10 the opposite.
Yes, you're so right. I've heard that before. Your body isn't producing enough acid.
Yeah. So I started introducing that, and then supplying meat, a lot, some nice high quality meat every now and again, and then so the body starts to go, oh, okay, we need to start producing this. We're gonna start supplying you decent amounts. But yeah, I was taking that supplement every day with some digestive enzymes.
Yeah.
And again, that's about extracting the best from your plant-based foods as well to get the nutrition out of it, because the skin, it's the furthest away from your vital organs, and the body's job is always, well, we're going to look after the brain and the heart first. So the skin just gets the leftovers.
It's true. And okay, speaking of skin, this is a question I've been wanting to ask. What kind of things do you do for your skin to maintain? Because like you look absolutely stunning right now. If anyone wants to see this on the app, you should go to YouTube and look at this on YouTube. No pressure, Jade. But what sort of things do you do for your skin, especially like your face? What skin routines do you have, and like what kind of products do you use as well?
Would you believe I'm really minimal?
Yeah.
I think radiance is 100% built within, from the cellular. Like that healthy glow it comes within, and being clear of toxins. So nice things for me to do every now and again. I'll take some pink clay and I'll mix it up with my green tea, and I'll put that on with some frankincense and myrrh. What's that?
What does pink clay do?
It's magic. I'm not sure exactly what it does.
I'm not sure. I just
create like
my face.
No, actually I do know. It draws out impurities and it refines your pores. So it draws out, and then just cleanses the skin, detoxifies the skin. For a while, I started making my own skincare. So I'd take oils and make some nice blends with like frankincense and myrrh. So, those are the Egyptian preservative oils. Because when I looked into them and I saw all the qualities that they would provide your skin, anti-wrinkle, clearing blemishes. I think there was things like anti-sag. I was like, wow, why are these not in so many skincare?
Yeah.
So I started putting them in my own skincare.
Nice.
Using that, exfoliating as well. So like an acid-based exfoliator, lactic acid
Okay.
is a good one. And vitamin A. I'm a big fan of vitamin A as well. It does challenge some people when they first start using it. But I really like, there's a natural product that you have it suspended in squalane, I think. So it's a little bit not so potent, but that
What
again
do you
just
mean it
helps with
challenges?
cellular integrity.
What do you mean by it
Sorry, what's that?
challenges people's skin?
Like I say, if you were to get an aggressive dose from the doctor, that's more challenging than, say, vitamin A from a natural source that's in skincare.
Okay.
So that it's actually one of the only proven components to really plump up your cells from, and just speeds up cellular renewal. So using like don't really like vitamin C, but that's, each to their own skin type. But lactic acid, or you like your fruit acids, just to create like really nice refined skincare. And then hydration. Everyone knows to drink a lot of water, but we're really fortunate here that we have alkaline water where I live.
Yeah.
Haven't always had that though, but for the past probably 5 years, I'm just always drinking alkaline water, so pH 8.5, which has got all like your micronutrients in it. And then hydroluronic, so always a bit of a mouthful to say, is another really beautiful hydrating product to put on your skin. So you've got,
I've heard
as
that one
an
too, and I never
serum.
know how to pronounce it because I always want to say hydrochloric, but it's not hydrochloric. It's like
Yes, yes.
what you said.
Hydroluronic. Yeah.
Hydroluronic. Yeah. I've heard of that one. That was like the main one that I heard to maintain like moisture to the skin.
Yeah, I
And
believe it comes from like a potato starch. You'll
okay.
find it in a lot of cosmeceuticals, but you can just buy it separately. And so using that one's beautiful as
That's
well.
actually
But
such a good idea to mix your
things
own.
like green smoothies,
Yeah.
keep you hydrated as well. So it's a sustained release of hydration.
Okay.
So that's always how I start my day, is green smoothie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to ask as well. Like what kind of on a typical day where the house isn't on fire and you have all these like, crazy emergencies, like what do you do, or do you have like a morning or an evening routine of what you do when you get up in the morning and before you go to bed at night?
Yeah, so in the morning I'm all about hydration. It'll most days I'll have a green smoothie, and then I'll have my raw cacao adaptogen elixir, and then follow that usually by green tea. And then around 11 I usually have like my first meal, and then again around 3, and then dinner. So I probably won't snack too late in the evenings, and if I do, it'll be like celery and peanut butter or a few almonds, a glass of almond milk, just something light. I think there's a lot in that, just not overburdening your system. And when I lived in Japan, there's an expression, and it's like only ever eat until you're 80% full, because you overburden your liver, and then so that's pretty standard for me.
Mm-hmm. And your skincare routine is, do you do something in the morning and the evening, or do you just do something in the evening with your skin? Like how often would you exfoliate? Because literally like I am way more minimal than you. Like I just have a face cream and I'm like, oh, I'll just put it on when I remember. Like my skincare routine is horrid. So like I never exfoliate, and I wouldn't even know like how often would you exfoliate. And then I know there's like cleansing and toning and so much is out there. It all goes over my head. But like what do you do? What would be your usual like through the week? What would you do with your face skin? The skin on your face.
Yeah, sure. So I use these little I think they're called Goji pads. So they're made from seaweed, and they're like sponges with charcoal in them. So you just rinse them underwater, and I just use that like 2 little pads,
Okay.
and it's like a gentle, soft exfoliation. And I don't need any cleanser.
Yeah.
If I did, I'd take some almond oil and put it around my eyes if I've worn makeup.
Okay.
And then a natural moisturizer. So I'll probably exfoliate like once or twice a week, and maybe do. It depends. Maybe do like a pink mask like once or twice a month.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's been some different times in my life where I've stepped up my skincare and sorry, apologies. I will sleep in the lactic acid and the vitamin A and the hyaluronic. Yeah.
Right. You sleep in it as in you just put it on before you go to bed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's working while I sleep. And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And you sleep on your back then, right?
Like a geisha? No.
No, you don't?
No.
Okay, because I hear that helps, because like when you sleep on your side or whatever, like I always sleep on my side.
Yeah.
So I get the whole like crinkled face thing. But that's why that's why I tend to not put on moisturizer on my face right before I go to sleep, because I'm always rubbing my face in my pillows. So I wish I knew how to sleep on my back, but I never seem to. Or I'll try and then I'll wake up on my stomach. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm all over the place. I'll sleep left, right,
Yeah.
upright. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's more proper ways to do things. You know, the whole like silk pillowcase and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
it's not about perfection, but it's
Mm.
definitely just about feeling good, feeling vital and energized, and that just shows through as radiance.
It does. And changing your lifestyle, as you said as well, not like doing a 6-week something to like, or just this one product or this one pill is going to help me anti-age. You're like, no, just incorporating all these things in your lifestyle that bring in rejuvenation and like things to maintain your youth, and then getting rid of things that aren't so good, like the sugars and the coffees, as you said, and things like that.
For sure. Yeah, I swear I could be a spokesmodel for Spirulina, because I'm such a fan of that. Like if I had to live without anything and just have one thing, it would probably be Spirulina.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Spirulina. I've never taken it though. You can take it in capsule form, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No.
Okay,
and that's what you mean by like you don't supplement, but you do in a form like take just these power holistic foods.
Superfoods. I'm all about the superfoods, especially when I was directing street art festivals. I was pregnant. I was looking after my partner's, the kid's dad's business. So I just had to go next level with supplying myself with the energy to sustain that sort of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And there's always some new challenge or next level to work with. But these days I'm a bit more about simplicity and just not overloading myself.
Yeah. So important. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. How can people find you if you want them to, if they want to find your ebook on the liver cleanse or ask you about anything? How can they find you online?
Sure. My website, I'm overhauling at the moment, so it's not live yet. I am on Facebook under Jade Miller. I've got also a Kundalini page, which is like where I'm working on bringing in everything, and as a holistic empowerment coach. So that's Jade Star Kundalini, star spelt without an R. Until I start my website. When I do list up my website, I'm going to have some, a few little free downloadables, as well as some short little guides, because and little clips as well. Like I feel that these days people aren't really interested in reading like novels of information. If they want that, they can go to the library. So it's nice just to be able to supply these bite-sized pieces that are going to be of value, not too expensive. And just support people that way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, if people are preparing for birth or conceiving or not having success, I work with people one-on-one coaching and doing hormonal balance and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So good. So awesome.
Oh, thank you so
much.
much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time, Jade. Hey YouTube fam, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button below. And if you think a friend, a family member, or just someone you know who could benefit from this podcast episode, please share this video with them. And if you've been enjoying the Elevate Your Soul podcast, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for new episodes weekly.